Okidoki. Remember when I said I would be focusing on manga for a little bit? Well, we're gonna be taking a short break from that because I have been waiting for this movie for a long while. The Batman released this week and I want to talk about it. Let's get into it. Basic synopsis, if this movie even needs one. This is a new take on the Cape Crusader as Batman is in his second year of crime fighting, kind of going through a dark and brooding phase as he's striking fear in common crooks and telling Alfred he's not his real dad. A string of murders start happening to the Gothamite elites as a new masked criminal dubbed the Riddler seems to be out to unmask the corruption that envelops the city of Gotham. Batman has to uncover the darkness hidden in the pockets of the rich to solve Riddler's conundrum. I'm not gonna get into major spoilers for this movie, so don't worry. I will say I might talk about some minor things, so warning in advance just in case. I'm happy for spoilers in the comments below too, so be warned for anyone avoiding them. If you understand, let's continue. As I jokingly mentioned before, this is definitely a darker version of the Batman we've seen on screen. Robert Pattison portrays a workaholic Bruce Wayne that, from the perspective of the public, just stays locked up in his mansion away from prying eyes. He spends the time that we would usually see chatting at parties to rather stalk the night to clean up the filth. You can definitely see this in the way he behaves with the mask on, because he's kind of a socially awkward Batman. He's a man of little words, especially when he's working with the police, as he's normally staring menacingly with the very occasional one sentence remark. It makes sense in context with his distrust of everyone, along with this one gadget that requires the long back glares, but I just found it a little funny. Definitely not a downside, just a weird way my mind interpreted his acting. The story itself is definitely more detective work than action, which totally fits the main antagonist for this movie, the Riddler. If you don't know or haven't guessed from the moniker, Riddler loves to place puzzles at his crime scenes, as he's incredibly egocentric and thinks of himself as the smartest person in the room. Can't get caught if no one can solve my riddles. It's a different type of superhero movie, one that I probably should have expected, but was still caught a little off guard by. I think I've gotten too used to the action-packed Marvel cinematics that I wasn't able to fully appreciate this movie. It's really interesting watching him go through clues left behind and follow breadcrumbs, even making a mistake like you would expect from a young Batman. I think I need to rewatch it to fully take it in, but still, watching everything unravel to the big reveal was pretty great. That being said, anytime there is action on screen, ooh, damn, it's epic. The cinematics here are top tier. The fisticuffs hit hard and the chase scene was an adrenaline rush. I'll let you guys experience it for yourselves because it's better to see it than to hear it from me. This is also a kind of coming of age story for Batman. He starts this movie with the mindset that he's a symbol of fear that strikes terror in the hearts of criminals so that they think twice before spray painting the walls or robbing the convenience store. He ponders about the difference he's actually making, whether he's actually having an effect on the crime rate in Gotham, and that's all I'll say to avoid spoilers. The growth Batman has in this movie is phenomenal, with Batman understanding what it actually means to help the city. I want to talk about the character designs for the Rogues Gallery. Riddler is definitely the one that has the most differences compared to his comic counterpart, with a DIY look instead of the sophisticated suit or the goofy spandex. I really like that the costume works really well with how they portrayed him. A terrorist that cares more about the message he wants to spread than the way he looks on camera. Catwoman also appears. Her design is matching pretty closely. The biggest difference is she's got a half ski mask with the cute little cat ears. Penguin's design was my favorite. I love the scarring and the effects that they gave him. I did not recognize Colin Farrell until my friend pointed out who was playing Oswald. The first time he appears on screen, you just instantly know who he's supposed to be. We've got to talk about Batman too. I love his metal body armor. It looks reminiscent of the Arkham games. It makes sense when you see how many bullets he takes in this movie. He's got to have protection as the highest priority, but he still looks dope as fuck. Everyone, they killed their roles here as well. I was completely sold by each portrayal. It really did feel like part of the comics was coming to life on screen. They definitely nailed traits like Riddler's superiority complex over Batman and Penguin's gentlemanly mobster vibe coming out even with him still as a young mob underling. I also like how they handled Bruce's parents in this movie. A lot of the time, they're either portrayed as the saints Bruce look up to or secretly as corrupt as the people Batman is punching. This version, however, feels more realistic. Instead of going from one extreme to the other, that's all I'll say for now. Just gotta make sure I keep spoilers to a zilch. I think I definitely want to rewatch this movie and experience this again. One time just wasn't enough. I will say one thing about the ending scene. I hope the next movie is another group cast when it comes to the Rogues Gallery. I'm fine with them having the main focus of who we saw, but I want to see more people like Mad Hatter or the Ventriloquist make an appearance so that we can keep that same idea that Gotham is just crawling with villains all doing their own thing, keeping the whole world feeling alive like it did in this one. Other than that, I'll be back in the cinema soon to watch this again and again. Thanks for watching, leave your thoughts in the comments below. I don't mind if there are spoiler discussions. I think people that are avoiding them will be smart enough to not look down. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and let me know what other manga, shows, or movies you'd like me to cover. That's all I want to say. I hope you all have a good rest of your day.